Jocko and Echo, should you defend bad leaders, aka your superiors, to your men?
Think about that question. This is a good question. And we haven't done Q&A in a while, and that's why I want to start off. Think about that. Should you defend bad leaders, that are people that are in charge of you, should you defend them to your men? Now, this is really a perfect example of the dichotomy of leadership. And this is one of those situations that makes leadership very, very hard because it requires a nuanced balance to handle this correctly. So, on the one hand, if we say our boss is a bad leader and doesn't know what he's doing, so if I go, the boss, hey, Echo, our boss doesn't know what he's doing, he's an idiot, we undermine his authority for sure, and we undermine the authority of the whole chain of command.
Yeah.
So, should you call out when someone sucks? You say, oh, that guy sucks, he's terrible. Should you do that to your leader? The answer is no. You can't do that. You can't do that because you're undermining everything. So you got a horrible leader? You can't just sit there to your boys and say, hey, this guy's an idiot. Can't do that. However, if you give full support to this horrible boss, then your troops, who know a good leader from a bad leader, they know what's stupid and what isn't. They know this. They know this. And if you are sitting there backing them 100%, then they're going to know that you either actually agree with the bad leader, which is bad, or that you're too weak to stand up and say, hey, boss, what we're doing is wrong. So you can't go to one extreme. The boss is an idiot. You can't go to the other extreme. The boss is awesome. Think about how hard that is. Think about what I'm saying. This is very, very challenging. So what can you do? Well, okay, first of all, as a subordinate leader, it is your duty to push back, right? To say, hey, boss, I think we're doing the wrong thing here. And this is why we spend a lot of time trying to build relationships with our bosses so that we can have candid conversations with them, right? Sometimes it's hard to do that. It is. I understand. But when you have built a relationship, then you can go to your boss and say, hey, look, this isn't good. Now, once you've done that, then you can go to your troops and you say, hey, look, I went to the boss. This is what I told him. You know, I told him that, hey, doing this method isn't going to work well. He explained to me while we're doing it. This is what he said. So this is why we're using this method. I know it's not popular with you guys, but it's here's the reason why we're doing it. So you made progress, right? Your guys are saying, okay, well, he at least stood up to the man. And now he gave us an answer. He told us why we're doing what we're doing, so that's good too. But the other thing is, one of the easiest way to do this is to provide an honest opinion. Truth is going to be your friend here. Truth is going to be your friend. Now, I should put a caveat around that. Because the truth might be, you think your boss is a complete idiot and everything he's saying is stupid. Okay, so I take it back. Don't use full-on truth. And this is so interesting too, because clearly truthfulness is a huge, it's a value that I hold very dear, right? And you got to be truthful and all that. I'm telling you right now, do not be true. If you think your boss is an idiot and you think the method that he's picking or the plan he's got is stupid, don't be truthful with your guys and go down there and say, boss is an idiot. It's not going to help your team, right? Yeah. We have to be smart about what we're doing. But when you do that, what you need to do is keep it somewhere in the middle, okay? So when you say something negative, don't get all crazy with the negative. Don't get all nuts with the negative. What you want to do is you say something like, hey, look, I'm sure there's some better ways of doing this, but this is the decision that was made and we need to make it work, right? So I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm saying, look, hey guys, I'm sure there's some better ways, but guess what? This is what we are being told to do right now, and we're going to do the best we can. Notice that I'm putting it from like them to the we. I'm taking ownership of it. This is now ours to execute. Yeah. So you want to do that, and I also want to focus more on as much as I can, I want to focus on not the personality of the boss, but I want to focus on like the what we're being told type thing, or what the mission is. Because I don't want to I want to keep the personality of the boss at bay. Sometimes you get a boss that has such a raging asshole personality that you have to say something. Like you have to explain. And that's when even then you want to ratchet it down a little bit. You don't say, hey, the boss is an asshole.
Yeah.
The boss is an idiot. No, you don't say that. You say, hey, look, guys, I know the boss is not exactly perfect, but I think he means well with what he's trying to do, and that way we need to focus, for that reason, we need to focus on executing, because it's not going to help us to sit here and complain about the boss. He might not have the greatest personality, but you know what? His intention is good, so let's support him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something like that, where you're not giving him full support, but you're not completely throwing him under the bus. Again, this is so hard to do because, let's face it, the boys, the troops, they know what's up. They know when that boss is an idiot. They know when he's unprofessional. They know when he treats you like shit. They know that stuff. And so if you bow down, if you break and you give that to him, yes, you're right, the boss is a jerk. Yes, you're right, the boss treats people like shit. Yeah, if you give them that, you're hurting the situation. And that's why also when you're in a leadership position, your job oftentimes is to buffer between the jerk boss and the boys. The boys should never know that the kind of stupid harassment that you get from your boss. The boys should never know that. They should think, hey, Jocko says this guy's good to go. We're good to go. Yeah. They should never think that this guy's an idiot. Yeah. So, again, in both cases, it's like you can't go hardcore. You can't go hardcore against either the plan or the person. But you also, at the same time, you need to give a little bit of a pressure release. Just a little bit of a pressure release, You got to give them just enough that they go. You know what you want them to think? You want them to think, hey, Jocko gets it. He knows. He's not admitting it to us, and good on him. He's keeping it professional. They know they know that Jocko, they know I don't love the boss, but they know I'm keeping it professional. So therefore they accept what I'm saying and they stay part of the team. Yeah,
it kind of feels like I'm kind of imagining myself as one of the boys, right? You're my boss, and we don't really like your boss. Right. I feel like, sure, if I was made to feel better in whatever way, just a little bit better, that pressure release, like you said, just a little bit better about the mission, okay? And I trust you because of how you always handle things or whatever. You know what? All right, it's not the best, funnest, whatever. It's not my first choice, but at least we're doing it together. You know, I trust you, and all right, let's do this kind of thing.
And one of the key things you just said is trust. So if you trust me and the boss is saying to do something completely ridiculous, and I come down and say, Echo, guess what we're going to do? We're going to dig this hole, and then we're going to fill it back in, and we're going to do it 6 times today. Let's get to work. And you know it's stupid. Yeah. And I come down and try and sell that to you without any explanation.
With that voice?
With that voice, I'm going to lose trust. Yeah. You're not going to trust me as much. Now, if I come down and say, hey boys, hey, bring it in. This is what's going on. Yeah, see, I'm going back to a normal voice here. Going back to the leadership voice. If I say, hey guys, here's what's going on. I know this is going to come across as a strange task. We're going to get it done. We got to dig these holes, and then we're going to fill them back in, and we're actually going to do this 6 times today. Again, I know it's not exactly what we were planning to do today, but look, let's get after it. Let's get it done, and let's prove to everybody that we can make this happen faster than them. And all of a sudden, we're going to get after it. You know what I mean? It's no factor. Whereas, again, if I go into like a dorky nerd voice and try and say, we are going to do this because it's the best plan ever, I'm losing trust with you. Yeah. I'm actually hurting my trust. So this is a really, really nuanced thing, and my best advice here is to try and keep it in the middle, right? Yeah. Try and keep it, and I'll tell you, probably lean a little bit, lean towards being professional, lean towards supporting the chain of command, because the guys are going to know when you give them that little pressure relief. When you say, "Hey, I know this is a little bit of a strange plan," as soon as I say that, everyone's like, "Okay, he understands. We're good, exactly. And we'll do whatever he says." Hey, Jocko, we get it. You got to have us do this. Cool, let's do it. Yeah. It's when I come down and say, And again, you'll realize that this is the opposite. I say all the time, if you come down and say, the boss's plan, we got to do this. I always throw that as like the worst possible leadership is, hey, we got to do this because we were told to do it. Right. That's the worst possible leadership. I'm not saying to do that. What I'm saying is a little pressure relief, just a little pressure relief of, hey, look, I threw up a different plan. I thought my plan was a little bit better. Boss came up with this idea. We're going to go for it. It's close enough. Just something like that. Just like, hey, I know.
I dig it, yeah.
That's it. Little, just give him a little nugget.
Yeah, I feel like I would feel if you were to be like, this is such a dumb plan and I don't know why we got to do it or whatever. I'd be like, wait, then why are we doing it then?
Exactly.
You're my boss. Like, why are we doing it then, And I wouldn't want to do that.
No.
So yeah, it's like right in the middle there.
It's leaning towards being professional. It's leaning towards supporting the chain of command with just enough of a pressure relief to have them say,
I'll tell you a story. It's cool. This is real quick. This was in
take your time. I want you to tell me the longest story. We're going back to ninth grade. Bring it through high school and college.
It's weird that I even thought of this. So we how like in class, right? This early high school freshman, in class, they're like, hey, get into groups. We're going to do this thing. And so we got into these groups and we did some project, little thing during class. We're done. Halfway through class, we're done and we're about to present. The teacher looks at it and is like, oh, you guys got to do it again. But the teacher doesn't tell everyone. She tells just this one girl. Marla is her name.
Marla.
Yeah. So Marla comes back from talking to the teacher and she's like, she was kind of the leader. No one does it, but at that point, she was kind of the little leader, the liaison between the group and the teacher. So she comes back. She's like, we got to do it again. And everyone's like, what? She goes, we got to do it again. Like, you could tell she had accepted it, but just her being like sighing kind of demonstrated that, hey, she feels the pain too. I dig it, but hey, guys, we're not going to complain right now. It was just that little subtle thing, but that's exactly what it did. It basically accepted the order that none of us really wanted to hear. But at the same time, she demonstrated that, hey, she feels it too, and let's do it. We did it again, of course, and whatever. I don't even know what grade we had.
Got an A+, I'm sure. Marla working her leadership skills on the troops.
It was weird that, I don't know necessarily that she intended to do that, but that was the exact effect. And you can, thinking back, I can see the elements, the little pressure release was her not saying, don't talk to me like that. She said we got to do it again. She didn't oppose anybody. Right. Her little mannerisms.
You know what she didn't do? She didn't jump completely on board with the teacher.
Yeah.
And be like, we got to do this again. It sucked. No, she was like, hey, look, we're gonna have to do this again. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was just the tone. It was perfect.
She played it enough. Yeah. And I'll tell you, this question, I'm surprised it took so long to get this question, because this is a really, really good question. And it also is a incredibly important skill to be able to walk this line, and it's tricky to do, and it's sort of, this might be this is like the type of thing that helped me a lot when I was in the teams, was just being able to do this enough, because you get told to do some dumb shit in the teams, man. And you know what? It's like, okay, being able to translate something stupid and give enough pressure relief to make guys not just go, Jocko's just, company guy.
Yeah.
Right? He's a company guy. He just he doesn't stand up for us. No. Actually, I do. But this is, like Leif telling that story about doing paperwork. Right. I'm like, no, we're going to do all the paperwork. I held the company line, but like in such a dynamic or such an overboard way that guys were like, okay, we're going to win. You know? This is a competition.
Yeah.
So that's good times.
Yeah, it's like because it seems like, okay, all that paperwork, it's almost like the paperwork was like an affront. It was like, hey, what? It's us against them kind of thing. Whoever told us to do the paperwork. And you were like, it's us against them, and let's do this thing. Yeah, exactly. So it's like you take it to that.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's something I've actually done that a fair amount. I talked about this story before, but like at officer candidate school, every little stupid rule that they threw at us, I did it to the nth degree and had everyone in my class do it to the nth degree, where they were just
going ballistic.
Going ballistic. So a story like that, where we're going to take the order and carry it out to the extreme and take pride in doing that. That was another little tactic that got used by me along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do it so hard you're not even going to know what your name was. That's another tactic you can take, for sure. They want us to polish these boots. They want us to clean this thing. We'll do it. Watch this.